So this video is going to be about how to use different types of forms in ClickFunnels um, with regard to custom uh, custom fields in Infusionsoft. So the video or the templates in ClickFunnels are set to use just certain fields: name, address, phone, email, the basics. Custom fields don't really work very well and they're very hard to format. So you can see on this page, they used a custom field or a custom form. They actually used a type form because they couldn't figure out how to make it work in ClickFunnels. And even with this, the background's very heavy. It's very long. You have a lot of text being pushed into boxes that doesn't necessarily work well. When you take this whole explanation from Eagle to it here and try and put that into a custom field in Infusionsoft, you're using the entire language of this, and this is just a label. In Infusionsoft, we just want a yes, no answer. They either have this or they don't. And we know that, like, for the customer, they know what the description of an eagle is, but the customer doesn't know what our client knows what an eagle is, or what a bull is, or what a turtle is. They made up what that is. For the client, they need to actually see what those descriptions are, or the contact, the person filling out the form. So by putting this in as a custom field, you have to put the whole thing in there, which makes it very hard to work with and not really editable. If you were to look at a questionnaire in ClickFunnels that is using one from Infusionsoft, you don't really get to mess around with it a whole lot. So if we go into this, and we'll see what we can do here. So we want to show the pop-up. Here's the first name. I can change the placeholder text, but I can't really edit it a whole lot. And I only have these options: first, last, email, phone. There's no place here for adding custom fields. There's nothing that you can do to throw an extra one in there. So we have to find an alternate way to do it and make it easy to read and clear and easy to edit. So what I did was create a page that uses the HTML version of the form code from Infusionsoft. So we can go to this. This is confidential questionnaire, and I saved it as a template so it can always be pulled in and it can be shared with other accounts if we need to. So here, if you edit the page, you'll see the difference. There is no pop-up. Well, actually, it does say show pop-up, but we don't actually have a button here anywhere for that. You have the header, you have the thank you, the video, and then please fill out the form below. You can't really see the form because it's here in this HTML script. So and this is the whole script right here. All of this text that you see is the script. Now that comes from Infusionsoft. So if we go into Infusionsoft, let me log out of this account. I'm going to sign in again under Heather this time. And we're going to go to 12 Stone since there's a nice form there to look at. I'm going to go to Campaign Builder. And I'm going to go to Freedom Fund because that's where we have this currently. And we always want to be able to make a new version of this if they decide that they're going to have a not so Freedom Fund, or they're going to have a Banana Fund, or whatever the case may be. We'd want to copy most of the components of the campaign into a new campaign. We still don't want to have to redo the HTML every single time if we don't have to. So I'm going to double click on the form that we're using, which is the Freedom Fund CQ form. And then I'm going to switch it over to where it says code, and I want the unstyled code. So this is just the bare bones code. Now the most important part of this code, if you're going to use the exact same fields on the next version, you really only need to change the first 4 lines, which is telling the page which form to use when it's triggering the form action. If everything else is going to be exactly the same, leave this code the same. So as you can see, it's pretty junky. It's just code. And you're going to copy this. Now here's the thing. You can't just paste this into, well, in here I also want to show you something. When you look here, you see the answer, the questions, it just says investable funds, type of funds, personal or business relationship. These are the very short versions of the names of the fields because we don't want, like, eagle is the answer on this one, but we don't want eagle plus that whole entire paragraph. It would never be formatable into anything pretty. So that formatting is done in HTML instead. If we were to look at the two different forms, like the form I just copied, I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, so this is the form code. It's all pasted in here. And if I come over here and I'm switching to a view where you can see what it would look like, it's all lined up on the left. Everything's kind of right next to each other. It's all staggered. It's not very pretty, right? If I took that same code and I formatted it better by putting it into an Excel chart, right? And each one of these sections has its own little chart so that we can format each piece to work independently of the others to get them all lined up the way we want. Now everything's all lined up nice and straight. Everything is readable. And you can see that I've added in, this doesn't say investable funds. It says I have funds immediately available to invest in the amount of. So I've taken the short version and replaced it to the long version in the label using HTML. So when I come in here, and I'm using Dreamweaver to do this. So if I'm here and I want to do investable funds, I'm going to highlight investable funds and I'm going to click it over to the code window so I can see where it says investable funds, right? It's right there. Now I can type over that, and I'm just going to go copy it because I don't want to spend the whole day typing stuff. I can copy these words right here. And I can go back here and I can paste that in there. Now, you see I have funds immediately available in the amount of. That is how you're going to format it so that you can get it nice and pretty. And then, like I said, putting it into a chart, an Excel sheet, allows you to push and pull those edges and make it line up into something that looks nice. Now, once you get it into that nice, you copy all of this, all of the code, and you go back to Clickfunnels and you paste it in the code window. By doing that, then when we preview it, you can see that everything looks really nice and neat. This version is a whole lot easier to use than this version. This is not even using Infusionsoft, it's using Typeform, so none of the answers are going into Infusionsoft. So you really need to be using this version, the HTML version that gets it into Infusionsoft. Then what you have to do is just make sure that the thank you page is updated to the right page in Clickfunnels, because you're not using the Clickfunnels button here. It's not going to automatically go to the next page. It's actually going to submit. We're using the Infusionsoft button. It's going to submit an Infusionsoft form. Therefore, the thank you page has to be set correctly to send them back where they need to go.